the fantasy novel pick that I have this week, which is kind of a pleasant surprise for me. Came in contact with this. I was looking for, black authors, fantasy authors that I can get into, and this was kind of at the top of the list. And I've been looking out for her work like ever since I read this. I read this back in like 2016 actually too. So a lot of this I'm trying to like go from memory. I had to kind of research this a bit too because it has been a while, and a lot of things have happened since 2016. But I think I'm ready to dive into this one here. The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin was published back in 2010. Wow, way back in 2010 by Orbit Books. This is the first book of the Inheritance trilogy, which I haven't read. I've only read this one so far, but I definitely want to get into the other two novels, to kind of round it out. I haven't read this since 2016, so yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go through this again just to kind of like refresh and get immersed into the series, and then I'll check it out. All right, so what is the Thousand Kingdoms about? So this is starting with a young woman named Yena, Yaina, Yaini. I had to go to the audio book to really find out how to say this because I think I figured out already. Yena. No, Yena. I think it's Yena. Right. So yeah. So her name is Yena. I had to go to Audible just to like double check and see. That's okay. That's how you say it. Okay, Yena. All right. Her full name is. Now get this. It's Yena Dao Shi Kinet Tai Wer Somim Jana Dare. Yeah, that's her full name. That's crazy. Just to give you a taste of like N.K. Jemisin's kind of writing style and her imagination, she kind of operates on a different level than a lot of people, and like you can tell in her writing too that this world is very kind of expansive, and if you're into that sort of thing, or if you're into this world and these characters, it's going to help you out when you're going through it. So about Yena. So she is part of the Dare tribe or people, I guess you can say. And so her mother just mysteriously kind of dies. And so she kind of finds out like through the death of her mother. So she might have a direct connection with the emperor of like the most powerful kingdom or people in this world. Suddenly an invitation comes and she's like whisked off to the most powerful or popular city in here, which is a place called Sky, which is like supposedly it sits high above the clouds or something like that. Like she writes it in a way that I actually love, where it's just so fantastical and kind of like out there and imaginative that it really did kind of pull me in. That was kind of like my favorite aspects of it. So yeah, she's in the city of Sky, and she has to navigate through this really kind of Game of Thrones level of like intrigue and dignitaries and plots for the throne and things of that nature, which I wasn't expecting it to be kind of like that deep into it, but yeah, it starts that whole kind of thing, and it gets really interesting at that point. So okay. A little bit more of the backstory on Yena. So she has been ostracized from the kingdom because her mom fell in love with her mom, who's an Amari. That's the people. The Amari people are the ruling class, I guess you could say. And so her mom like fell in love with a Dare person who's like I guess they're more like the common people or the common tribe or whatever. Her mom's people, the Aramari people, kind of looked down on that, and so like just abdicated herself from the throne, and so she has no connection with the Amari people or the people, the ruling class family that she has. Her being or going to that the Amari people and that kingdom is kind of like she's like the audience's window into that world and that whole setting, because she has no contact with them, so she has no idea what's going on or who they are or what like all the machinations or whatever that goes on day to day in that city. And so that kind of helps make it like a very intriguing too. Okay, so what I like about this, again, it's a very kind of Game of Thrones esque kind of plot that's going on here. When she gets to the city, it's a lot of people like vying and making like political moves and stuff, for the throne or to get closer to the throne. And since Yena seemingly has like a direct connection to the emperor, or the ruling family there, it pulls her. She's inadvertently pulled into a lot of like plots and schemes, and so she has to kind of like watch her back and watch her associations and things like that. Yeah, the second thing I really kind of dig about it is having this kind of high fantasy plot being written and told through, so a different point of view. These kind of stories are typically kind of told from like a male perspective or a male point of view, and having N.K. Jemisin kind of write this from a completely different perspective on things was pretty cool. Like I really like that aspect of it. With that being said, though, it is half chicklet, so if you're not into that kind of thing, I would still say give it a chance, because I gave it a chance, and that the chicklet aspect of it was okay. It wasn't like the worst thing. Actually, helped me kind of get into this a little bit more. And okay, so with the kind of like chicklet aspect to it, there are deities in here. They're like gods that have been enslaved under like the Aramari people. God, blah. But yeah, so they've been enslaved under the Aramari people, and they're at the bidding of those people. And since Yena is part Aramari, so she kind of has like a claim to that aspect of it too. So there, of course, so one of the enslaved gods is like this super sexy, super mysterious, super tall, dark, and mysterious like guy named Nahato. Nahato, is that his name? Nahato or something like that. I forgot to write it down, but actually I'm gonna do one better. I'm gonna read an excerpt from the book. Yeah, so I'm gonna read an excerpt of the book, just as like a little taste of like how N.K. Jemisin is writing this. Just to see just a little bit of the edge that she's adding to the story. It's Then I kissed him, and filled that kiss with all the promise I could muster. But some of that surprise that passed between us was mine, for his mouth was soft, despite its hard lines. Underneath that, I could taste hot spices and warm ocean breezes. He made my mouth water and my whole body ache. For the first time, I understood why Nahadoth, that's his name, loved him. And by the way his mouth hung open when I pulled back, I think he felt the same. It's spicy. It was just spicy. Yeah, and I almost forgot. On top of that, I remember reading this. There was another kind of love scene in here, because this is a family channel, so I'm gonna try to keep it as PG as possible, But there was another love scene in this where she was, making love to one of those deities, probably the same deity I was reading the excerpt from, and she had this wild line here, like you say, "Oh, he filled me completely in a way that I'd never been filled before," or something crazy like that. And I was just like, "Oh, okay, all right, so this is what y'all be reading, huh? This the kind of stuff y'all females be reading. All right, okay. I can't compete with that. Like you got it, bro. Shoot. Yeah. So yeah, and it kind of helped open my eyes. This was one of the first books that kind of helped me, break out of like my tiny little like genre books box that I was in for years, like for decades, and I started actively looking for other books by like female authors, or just from just authors I wouldn't typically like go to read. And yeah, it's same with this book. I've been pleasantly surprised with a couple of other ones that I've picked up and started reading, and I'll probably do a review on some of those as well. But yeah, it was pretty good. This was the book that I kind of picked up and started reading, and I was just like, okay, yeah, no, I definitely am going to check out other like female fantasy books, or books from like other kind of female or just other authors from genres that I definitely would not have like picked before. Okay, so what I don't like about the book, or just what I just didn't jive with in the book. I mean, it kind of meanders a bit here and there. Kind of feel like a jerk for like saying that, because with a lot of fantasy, like with a lot of like high fantasy too, you kind of have to do some exposition dumps here and there. If you want to properly set up the world, the background, the characters, and the kind of like move it forward, we kind of have to know, like, okay, where are we? Who are these people? What's happening? Like here in this moment, I recognize that and I understand that, but this one it does kind of go into like info dump, from here and there. It's not all the time. It's not throughout the book. It's just here and there, and I totally get it. I understand. I kind of sympathize with it though. But all right, come on, all right, come on, let's go. I'm here. I'm with you. I'm getting it. Let's kind of go. The other thing will be, there were no kind of likable characters to me in this. Like everybody, and I sympathize with Yena. I actually do sympathize with her, honestly. But there's just there's just no characters that I kind of gelled with. I guess there was nobody that I was kind of like on their side with. Even though again, I sympathize with Yena. She's thrown into this thing, but it's not like she comes out of it like the better person. She kind of just, the way I read it, she kind of just adapted and started like going with like how everything was, especially like with the slaves. I think now, okay, this is the first book of the trilogy, so maybe like with the enslaved deities in here, maybe she's going to try to work with them or work towards them. But in the book, she kind of started playing the game, basically started pitting them with other characters and stuff. And so I was just like, yeah, okay, that's redeeming characters that's to me. But again, it's the first novel in the trilogy. So I'm going to kind of take that back until I finish the other two books. I really like the book. I am going to start reading her other ones too. So I can't wait to get into when it is Black Future Month, and also the cities we became, and also she has a comic book series that I am going to review next week called Far Sector. It came out, I think, back in 2020. I think it's like a very contained run on DC Comics. It's dealing with a character that's a Green Lantern, and it was actually really, really damn good. I am definitely going to review that. She was the writer for that run on DC Comics. But yeah, okay. So for the score of this one, I like the book. I think I could give it a 3 out of 5. I like it. I would recommend it if you're into fantasy at all, or if you're looking for like black fantasy, or black authors who are writing fantasy. I definitely would like recommend it. I kind of feel like a jerk for giving it a 3, but I will say this is the first book. I am definitely going to read the other two in the trilogy, and it probably would, and I think I will kind of revisit this. I probably will like the book probably a little bit more after reading the other two. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel comfortable giving it a 3 out of 5. She's one of my favorite authors though, by the way. So I don't know, I feel like a jerk, but I don't know, 3 out of 5 seems fair.